MTG Scoundrels. It's in the cardboard. Ladies and gentlemen, scoundrels of all ages, welcome back to another episode of Modern Mondays. Today on the docket, we have a brand new modern format with Living End, an Amulet Titan, and of course my low voice. Of course, with the modern format changing thanks to the ban and restricted announcement, we're already getting started here, going to 18 for Living End. We saw the unban of Violent Outburst, which has made Living End an incredible top player in the format so far. Here's an Arboreal Grazer for the Titan player, returning Boseiju to hand. And of course, Amulet Titan lost Lotus Field. Here's a cycle of a generous Ent. So Amulet Titan much more in on the all-Titan plan than it used to be. You won't be seeing any Aftermath Analyst loops, more than likely, as it takes a lot more time to get there, as you don't have as many sacrifice opportunities with Lotus Fields. And granted, having 3 mana off of a single Lotus Field is pretty huge. Untapping and drawing here. So I Gruul Turf go down to put a Boseiju back to hand. Now the Living End player deciding what they're going to do here. Now thanks to these new Evoca Elementals that came out, taking 2 off a breeding pool, that came out in Lorwyn Eclipsed, Living End has a lot more things it can do. Curator of Mysteries getting cycled, passing the turn. Boseiju is land for turn for the Titan player. One mana for a 0 in the X of Green Sun Zenith. So looking to go find a Dryad Arbor, which is an interesting play. When you see Living End across the table, it just looks like another thing to be thrown into the graveyard. So there's Dryad Arbor. Green Sun going to get shuffled back into the Titan player's deck. Passing the turn. Only 2 creatures in the bin so far for Living End, but that'll probably soon change. Violent Outburst being unbanned may be one of the biggest moves to ever affect Modern. Granted, if you really look at it, it's the biggest move since Mox Opal's unbanning, with Green Sun Zenith and Splinter Twin. Steam Vents, entering untapped. So I'll bring us to 14 to 20. Looks like the Titan player... The Titan player must have a second Boseiju here. Don't know what the Titan player thinks taking any of the mana away is going to do, but here's a Wistfulness. On draw 2, discard 1. Taking a look at the card here. So in response to that wistfulness, looks like Beseju is going to target the Stomping Ground, and the Living End player is going to get to go search. But with the lands that were on the battlefield, it didn't matter that much. So we'll see if they find a basic here. Probably would be my guess. But you're really not holding up much, because you are in fact a Living End. All your spells are 3 mana or greater besides Living End, and like 1 card out of the sideboard. Wistfulness now resolving. Drawing 2. And probably discarding a big creature here or a Living End. That may have been drawn. Looks like a Living End. Passing from there. Titan player with only 4 available mana currently, which is not exactly where they would like to be. No Amulet on the battlefield. Well, this would be the turn to go off if you could. Beseju's going to go back to hand with the entry of the Gruul Turf. Dryad Arbor attacking in for 1. That'll bring us to 13 to 20. End step, cycling a Curator of Mysteries. Drawing for turn. Man, it looks like the Living End player has answers upon answers in hand, too. Just saw a subtlety. Here's a Surveil land. Thundering Falls. And here is the unbanned card, Violent Outburst. Cascade trigger. And there is a Living End. So each player going to exile the graveyards, sacrifice their board, and then bring back the exiled cards. There'll be a food made off the end. And just passing from there, possible 19 on the other side, and Titan's just going to scoop it up from here. Game 1, going to Living End. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTG Scoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. We appreciate all of you that tuned in for our coverage of the Banned and Restricted announcement that saw one of the largest changes in the format. It's kind of wild that Flage, Titan of Fire's Fury, and Lotus Field are both banned, and Umezawa's Jite and Violent Outburst have entered the format. But you can check that video out here for more of my thoughts, as well as where the format's going to go from here. Some things have proven to be right, some things have been proven to be wrong. You can tell me which in the comments below of that video, so definitely give us a shout. And if you haven't watched it already, still give us a view over on our video what you should play in Modern in 2026. We are in fact going to do an updated version of that, but more looking on the Pro Tour side of things here in the next month or so. So definitely check that out, and especially with how much the format's been shaken up. More decks are popping up, some decks have disappeared. Definitely listen to that if you can. Moving on to sideboards. Living End probably just bringing in Force of Vigors here. Maybe an inevitable Betrayal or two. Which gives you an opportunity to go take one of their Titans. Though Titan players not exactly sure where they are in terms of their game plan currently without the Lotus Field combo. Though you could probably get a Cultivator Colossus here with the Inevitable Betrayal or Dryad of the Elysian Grove, Elvish Reclaimer. There's a few options. Now if you're the Titan player, if you have Soulless Jailer, you're probably bringing it in. Though I think Vexing Bauble is going to be doing most of your heavy lifting here. If you can get Vexing Bauble out on turn 1, it really slows the Living End player down, or at least they have to think about keeping hands with Force of Negation to start out and or Wistfulness to be able to get rid of the Vexing Bauble to then combo off with Violent Outburst and other Cascaders. Moving on to our ads, definitely check out our friends over at Grove Warden Games, hosts of this channel, and a wonderful place to store them out. Link to their store is in the description below, and they're in the process of finishing up getting their card ordering service onto their website. So definitely be on the lookout for that. And check out artist of our channel, Sean Gerard. They make wonderful art. Whether you're looking for something professional, or if you're looking for something for a gift for a friend, etc., etc., reach out to them. Their Instagram's up on the screen. Their email is in the description below. They are open to new projects. And we wouldn't be as successful here without their wonderful art. So thank you to Sean Gerard. And of course, check out our socials. We are at MTGScoundrels over on Blue Sky, Twitter, and Facebook. Most active over on Blue Sky. And most active, of course, as always, in the comments below, which is where you can let us know how you feel about these changes and where you see the format going. So definitely interact with us there. Moving on to game number 2. Both players cutting decks, looking at 7. It'll be interesting to see which versions of Violent Outburst decks end up doing well in this format. Obviously, I think Living End is going to be in a good spot. However, do we see a resurgence of Teamer Rhinos? And of course, Domain Rhinos was a big deal just before Violent Outburst got banned the first time around. Looks like Amulet Titan going to be on possibly a mulligan here. Well, never mind. We're just going to get started with an Urza's Saga. And passing the turn. Titan was on 5 in game 1. Cycling Street Wraith. That'll bring us to 18 to 20. Drawing for turn. Island Pass. So that could be a couple of things, but that definitely tries to leave a door open for a Curator of Mystery cycle. Here's a Boseiju as the land for turn. Into Arboreal Grazer. Into another Urza's Saga. Well, that is explosive. Oh, no. Living End with the perfect answer. Force of Vigor. I'm going to take out 2 Urza's Sagas here. And like that, this game is back on equal footing. And here's a cycle of a Generous Ent to go find a second land. Finding a breeding pool. That is tough. In normal circumstances, that would have been a great play for the Titan player. But Living End figuring itself out already. The deck is chock full of answers. Here's a breeding pool taking 2. Bring us to 16 to 20. 2 mana into a Wistfulness. Draw 2, discard 1. Discarding the Curator and passing. 3rd Urza Saga for the Titan player. And just a pass. Taking 2 off of Steam Vents. Passing the turn. Saga's going to uptick. Here's a Gruul Turf, sending Boseiju back to hand and passing. End step. Violent Outburst. Here's Living End. They'll send the Grazer to the graveyard. And Wistfulness, Curator of Mysteries, Street Wraith, and Generous Ent will come back. Also a food token being made. Moving to combat, attacking in. This is going to be for 18 here. Passing. Floating a mana. Saga will trigger. Finding an Amulet. Of course, that's in response to the trigger you float a mana, but I digress. Here's another Amulet. Here's a Boseiju. 3 mana. Spelunking. Trigger on the stack. And there is Sink into Stupor. And that's going to do it. Amulet Titan scooping up. Living End. Taking the game set and match. Violent Outburst doing its thing. Thank you all so much for watching us here at MTGScoundrels. If you enjoy our content, please like and subscribe. Be a friend, tell a friend. And we will see you all next week.